Heyo, Stoic here. Hey, welcome to the Bedrock Guide. In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at 8 separate creeper farms made by different content creators just to see how they work. Like I mentioned, we're going to be looking at 8 different creeper farms. There's probably the more popular ones that I could find on YouTube, and I didn't source them back to their original source, so I apologize if I'm skipping over you. But yeah, these are done in no particular order, and I tried to build them as close as I could to how the tutorial was made, unless there was some glaring thing from Java or something like that. I did some ratings from simplicity, the types and quantities of blocks and entities needed. I took a look at the gunpowder per hour, and also a block to gunpowder ratio. So how many blocks did you need in order to get the gunpowder that you got? So there's going to be links to all the farms in the description, and I think they're just all amazing farms with great content creators. So hopefully you all take a look at each one of them. But enjoy this and consider subscribing. All right, here is our first one. This one's by Rob's Mine. I'll put a link in the description because I can only add so many cards in the top right. And you can see that this one is made out of 9,000 blocks, and I did my best to match up to his build as best as possible. But you can see that, yep, we've got trapdoors and buttons and openings for our creepers, pretty straightforward, and a very large collection system. This one has, creepers could travel as many as 12 blocks in order to get to a kill chamber. So that does kind of hurt its rates, but it still performs really well. And fortunately, we got a creeper here giving us an example, but we can get up to 778 gunpowder per hour, which is fantastic. That's about 12 stacks per hour. And again, these are the rates that I got based off of my testing and not what was advertised. And, from a blocks to gunpowder ratio, we're going to get, I got 11.6. Now that is pretty good compared to some of the other ones that we've got going on here. So for the number crunchers out there, yeah, we've got 11.6 on that one. But overall, my ratings for this one, simplicity, a 9. The amount of gunpowder is a 9. And the gunpowder to block ratio is a 10. So we got a 9.3 for Rob's Mind. Okay, you probably recognize this one. This one is by Oink Oink and JC Plays. They both kind of have the similar ones. These are very popular. I know I had one a long time ago. But yeah, this is kind of the same idea as Rob's Mind, but much, much smaller. And you can see we got creepers already in here. And they just fall in here, and I think they have about 8 to 9 block swim radius just to get to the kill chamber down here. And yep, just like that. So this is just under 6,000 blocks to make, so a lot less than Rob's Mine, but the amount of gunpowder you get is only about 6 stacks. That's what I got from my testing. It was, about 384. So the gunpowder to block ratio in this case is a 15.5, so much higher than Rob's Mine. But overall, let's see, I gave this one a 9 for simplicity. It is, and there's a lot of trapdoors just like Rob's Mine, but there's also, the amount of gunpowder you can get compared. I gave this one about a 6 because you can always get more from other farms, and you'll see those in a little bit. But from a block to gunpowder ratio, it's about a 9. So overall, this one from Oink Oink and JC Plays gets an 8 from me. So yeah, this one's a good one, especially if you don't have a whole lot of blocks in the beginning and you just want to get something going. All right, this next one is from Jumper, and I had to make some modifications on this one to kind of make it work for Bedrock. It is claimed to be working on Bedrock, and it does, but you want to make sure, just as a rule of thumb, you want to get away from all the other spawn locations nearby, and you can do that with torches, but the ocean where I built all of these is right here, and so I also put in some spawns in on top. But let's jump in here. This one's pretty simple to make. You can see there's no buttons. We're just letting the creepers spawn because we've got trapdoors on the ceiling, and spiders will spawn as well. And that's why I added in some magma here so that way they don't climb back up the walls. And yeah, but this one you can get string as well. But this one is just over 6,000 blocks, which isn't that bad. And you can get about 384 gunpowder per hour, and that is about 6 stacks. So that's comparable to our Oink Oink and JC farms as well. But from a block to gunpowder ratio, we're at 16, so a little bit higher. We're using more blocks, and and getting the same amount of gunpowder. So overall, from a simplicity standpoint, I gave it about an 8 because we've got some variety here, lots of trapdoors in here going on. And because we've got the spiders introduced, we got to have some magma going as well, just to get them out of the way and not ruin our spawn rates. But from a gunpowder standpoint, a 6 because it's about the same as Oink Oink and JC's. And from a block to gunpowder ratio, we've got an 8 as well. But overall, this is 7.3. But let's see, my block to gunpowder ratio was a 16. So again, we're going a little bit higher in each one of these. But yeah, this one is by Jumper and with some modifications, but it does work. And yeah, this looks pretty neat. All right, hopefully some of you recognize this one. This is by me. This is my single one. And actually, I got to give some credit to Navy Nexus because I didn't see it. He made this one 2 years earlier than me, and I just didn't find it in order to give him credit early on. But let's see here. We are going to this is over 10,000 blocks to make. And as you can probably guess, we have, pretty basic setup in here, buttons, trapdoors, but we got a lot more spawn locations going on. And if we come down here, you can see we're just kind of pushing everything into a couple different trident locations. So yeah, here comes the goodies right now. But anyways, yep, this one I would say from a simplicity standpoint, it's an 8, maybe 7. It's not quite as simple because we've got some water streams going on, a lot more redstone. From a gunpowder standpoint, you're bringing in 600 gunpowder per hour, which is about 9.5 stacks per hour, which is great. Everyone wants a whole bunch of gunpowder. There we go. And then from a gunpowder to block ratio, we're at a 16.7. So we're going higher again. Not that great for the number of blocks we have to use in order to get a whole bunch of gunpowder. It's getting up there, but overall, I gave my own farm an 8 out of 10. But yeah, couldn't go without put one of mine in here. All right, this next one is by Noise Gaming, and you've probably seen this one a whole bunch because there's a lot of people making this. I like to call it the bow tie because it kind of looks like a bow tie. But there's actually some cats in on every single level, and yep, hey there, and there's another one. So this one does get a little complicated because of the number of cats that you have to get. And I had to make some modifications because I think this one is basically for Java. Just from all the tutorials I've seen, it's made with AFK positions for Java, all that stuff. So I tried to make it so that it would work in Bedrock. And what we ended up getting, this is like 3,700 blocks. So it's a lot less than most of the other ones, but you're only going to get about 217 gunpowder per hour, which is about 3.5 stacks. Now, I gave this one 6 out of simplicity because you've got the cats and you've got kind of this interesting layout with the bow tie that you have to mimic every single time. Also, the gunpowder's not that high, so I gave that one a 5 out of 10. And then from a block to gunpowder ratio, it's that number is a 17.1. So we're using a lot of blocks. Doesn't look like a lot of blocks, but we're really not getting a whole lot of gunpowder in exchange. So overall, this one got a 6, but I think it's still really cool. I like this one. I wish it worked a little bit better, but from a design standpoint, it definitely stands out, and I like it. So let's move on to the next one. All right, we're rolling in here on laser, and yeah, this one is, you've probably seen something like this. Let me drink a potion here. Got this open area. Now, I had to make some modifications on this one too because of the spiders getting in the way of everything. So we had to add more buttons, which actually kind of hurt the rates as advertised by them. But I was able to pull in about 275 gunpowder per hour, which is about 4.3 stacks. And this is less than 5,500 blocks in total to make this farm. So it's kind of a big box with a lot of trapdoors, a lot of different levels, but everything just kind of drops down into a single kill chamber. We'll also see from that tutorial that a lot of times when things are made from Java, there's going to be no trident killer at the bottom, which you can't use trident killers in Java because of the trident. But in Bedrock. You want to use them in order to get that Fortune 3, get the extra loot. So I added that one in as well. Put some, because it's a high drop there, put in some hay bales so that the fall didn't kill them. But you can hear a whole bunch of cats here. This is what makes it complicated. So from a simplicity standpoint, I gave it a 6. Gunpowder wise, I gave it a 5. And then from a block to gunpowder ratio, we're about a 19.68, which is one of the highest numbers we've got so far. So overall, we're going to have a 5.6 on this farm. Not one of the better ratings, but I think it's really neat still with all the cats. I think it's really great to see those kind of mechanics used. But again, some of that does get complicated, and we're really not getting the yield that we want. So let's take a look at the next one. All right, we're getting close to the end here, and you guessed it. Yep, this is the double farm for me. This is the Stoic farm. 20,000 blocks in order to make this. You might be able to make it smaller, or maybe have one of those umbrellas like Oink Oink and JC to make sure that you get enough darkness under there and you're using less blocks. But anyways, for this one, you're going to get over 1,000 gunpowder per hour. That's from all my testing. And that's about 16.5 stacks per hour, which, you know, I think is pretty great. It's worth, to me, it's worth putting in all the extra blocks. So over time, you'll just beat any of the other farms. But it is a lot of blocks. I will say that from a block to gunpowder ratio, it is a 19.7, which is the highest one, which means it's the worst one. So you're putting in a lot of blocks and time to build the farm, but you're also getting a whole bunch of gunpowder in return. But yeah, this is the double one, but we've got one last one to go look at. Okay, this one is by Golden Helmet 403. I think it's 403. Anyways, link is in the description. This has got to be my favorite one so far. There's a little bit of magic happening in here with spiders and some creepers and water and scaffolding. From a complexity or simplicity standpoint, I gave this one a 7. It is a little more complicated. Precision is very important. And so this is just a quarter of, this is his compact one. And so this is only 7,500 blocks, and you're going to pull in just under 1,000 gunpowder per hour, which is about 15.5 stacks. Yeah, it's crazy. It's so compact. It's got the best gunpowder to block ratio of 7.5, which is really low. So you're pulling in a ton of gunpowder for not a whole lot of resources. And you can see with these scaffolding, we've got water up top, we got water down below, and once these creepers spawn in, they just get caught in the water and they get flushed down, killed instantly. You're also going to pull in some string as well. So you're going to pull in string, maybe some skeletons sometimes. I'm not sure how they just regular skeletons spawn in here, but they do. And yeah, the trick here is that you're in the ice biome, which actually helps your creeper rates. It just blew my mind when I watched this video. So anyways, I gave this one a 7 out of 10 for the simplicity, only because there is some precision that's needed. And then I gave it a 10 out of 10 for the amount of gunpowder you get. But then the block to gunpowder ratio, I gave it a 13 out of 10. Yeah. So overall, 10 out of 10. This is my favorite one so far. I'm glad I was able to find this one and showcase it a little bit. But yeah, go check out his channel, watch his video. This one is great. You can actually get close to 3,000 gunpowder if you make a quad. So this is just 1, 2, 3, 4 of these things. And with a little extra water streams at the bottom, you can be pulling in over 3,000 an hour. I didn't want to build it all, only because the first one was just so good. So overall, I think Golden Helmet's got the best creeper farm out there right now, based off of the number of blocks needed for the number of gunpowder you get. And unfortunately, to get the best rates, you're going to want to be in kind of an icy area to make that work. But yeah, maybe you're lucky and you got something nearby. Not a big deal. So thanks for joining me on the Bedrock Guide. And I'm so glad I could make all of these farms just so you could have an idea of which one could be the best one for you and which one gives you the best outcome for the amount of work you have to do for it. So But if you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. I really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Bye.